Good morning, students. We are continuing with the next part of the chapter Money and Credit. Before I go for the next topic, let me just recap of what we have done in the last class. We started with the working of the banks, loan activities of the banks, how banks act as a mediator between the depositor and the borrower. Like I have told you that banks keep, when we deposit our money in the bank, like the depositors will deposit money in the bank, banks keep 15% of that deposit with them. Now, why this deposit is kept with them is, if any depositor comes to withdraw the money, that time the banks can give that money. As no one, if suppose there are 100 customers in the bank, 100 depositors in the bank, all of them will not go on the same day. So the banks keep only 15% of that cash. Rest of the 85%, banks will lend it as a loan to the borrowers. So what is the benefit to the bank here? Banks charge a higher interest rate on the loans than what they offer on the deposits. So what they give as an interest rate to a depositor will be less than what they charge a interest rate from the borrower. Example, if to the depositor they are giving 5% of interest rate on deposits and they are borrowing 15% of interest rate from the borrowers. They are charging that much interest rate from the borrowers. So the difference between them is 10%. That 10% of the interest rate is the main source of income to the bank. That is how banks act as a mediator between depositor and the borrower. Now let's go to the next topic, which is two credit situations. Now what do you mean by the term credit? You can see this picture also here, children. It's very clear that how a bank works here if you see this. On one side there are depositors and on the other side there are borrowers. Depositors are depositing money in the bank and also withdrawing the money, and they get the interest rate for the deposits. On the other hand, people take loans, which we call it as credit. They are taking credit, and in return of the credit, people repay that loan with the interest rate. So you can see that interest rate in that person's hand is more than the interest rate which the bank is giving to the depositors. So that's how the banks get the benefit. Now we go to the next topic, that is two different credit situations. Now what is the meaning of credit? Credit means loan. People take loan for the various purposes. For example, farmers take loan to buy the inputs for farming. Same way, a businessman takes a loan for setting up his or her business. Some people take loan for building a house or for buying a house. Some people take car loan or any kind of a vehicle loan. Some children take education loan also. So we have different types of the credit, but it depends upon how much credit we are taking and on what basis we are taking that credit. So credit sometimes acts positively also, and sometimes credit works negatively also. We have examples also to prove this. Before I read out this example, let me tell you, whenever we are taking a credit, we should always think the first thing that what is the risk in taking that credit. Suppose our income is very less, say we earn only say 20,000 rupees per month, and we take a heavy loan. First of all, the banks will never give a heavy loan without seeing the documents. But if somehow we get the loan and we get the loan, then what we are able to pay? At that time, it is risk taking also. By taking a heavy loan, we are at risk, because if we are not able to repay that loan, then what will happen? Suppose we don't have any property of ours to repay the loan, then our situation will be worse. So it depends upon the person's income and his repaying ability. If we do, so you might have heard and you might have read in the newspapers that some of the business people take heavy loans, and when their business falls down, they are not able to repay the loan, because they are not left with anything with them. So that situations are very, very risky when they are not able to repay the loans. So let's do this with the examples which are given in the book. Children, this part of the chapter where the two different credit situations are asked, you have to give with the example only. Always it is asked with the example. For example, the question will be, explain positive credit situation by giving example. The next one will be, explain the negative credit situation by giving example. Or sometimes they may ask, what are the two different credit situations? Explain by giving example. So whenever this question is asked, children, it is asked for 5 marks, because it's a long answer where you have to explain the whole example by proving that the credit, in this situation, the credit is acting positively and the other one is negatively. So let's first do the example where you will understand more. The first example is of festival season. It is festival season 2 months from now, and the shoe manufacturer Salim has received an order from a large trader in town for 3,000 pairs of shoes to be delivered in a month's time. To complete production on time, Salim has hired a few more workers for stitching and pasting work. He has to purchase the raw material. To meet these expenses, Salim obtains loans from two sources. Now, what is this story about? It is a story of Salim, who is a shoe manufacturer. He got an order of making 3,000 pairs of shoes during a festival season. Now, since he has got a large order, he had to hire few workers for doing this work. Now, he has to purchase the raw material, because for making shoes, he requires all the raw materials, for example, leather. Now, to buy this leather, Salim takes two types of loans. Two types, that is he takes the loans from two sources. Now, when I talk about loan or credit, it's not that only when you take money from the bank, that is the loan. There are various types of loans, various sources of loans. For example, if I go to a market to buy the goods, and I have bought the goods of rupees maybe 10,000 rupees, and the shopkeeper is known to me, and I have only 8,000 rupees to pay him. So I am short of 2,000 rupees. So because that person is known to me, the shopkeeper is known to me, I'll take the goods, pay him 8,000 and will promise him that I will pay 2,000 later. So this is also one kind of credit. This is also one kind of credit. Then sometimes there is a businessman who got an order and from a trader like Salim. What the trader will give him? Trader will give him some advance. Trader will give him some advance money, maybe say 5,000 rupees as an advance. What is this advance again? This advance is also one kind of credit which Salim has taken. That is so there are many sources of credit. So let's continue here the story. So he has taken credit or loan from two sources. First one, he asks the leather supplier to supply the leather now and promises to pay him later. So what is the one kind of source from where he has taken loan? He asked the leather supplier to give the leather, supply the leather to him, and he will pay the leather supplier later. That means raw material he has taken and promised the leather supplier that he will pay him later. That's the one kind of loan. Second, he obtains loan in cash from the large trader as an advance payment for 1,000 pairs of shoes with a promise to deliver the whole order by the end of the month. So the trader who has given him the order of 3,000 pairs of shoes, from him Salim has taken an advance payment for 1,000 pairs of shoes, so that with that money he can buy the other raw materials other than the leather. So, and also Salim promised to the trader that he will complete his order on time and will pay back everything within a month. At the end of the month, Salim is able to deliver the order. Now the month is over. Salim has successfully completed the order and he had made a good profit. And also he repaid the money that he had borrowed. He had borrowed the money that he had repaid, that he has given back, and also he has paid to the leather supplier. So now you tell me, or in your mind you think, which kind of credit it is. Is it a positive kind of a credit or a negative situation of a credit? Children, in this case, in the Salim's case, he is able to complete his order on time and he is able to get the profit and is also able to repay the loan which he has taken. So that is how credit plays a vital and a positive role in this situation. So I am reading it here from here. Salim obtains credit to meet the working capital needs of production. Children, again you have done two types of capital in class 9th. Working capital and fixed capital. Working capital is money, cash and the raw materials. Fixed capitals are machines. So Salim wanted the working capital. What is that working capital which Salim wanted? Leather. He wanted the leather, which is a raw material, which is a working capital. So for that he wanted the credit. The credit helps him to meet the ongoing expenses of production, complete production on time, and thereby increase his earnings. What has credit done for him? By taking credit, he could buy the raw material, he could complete the order on time, and he could make the profits. Credit therefore plays a vital and positive role in this situation. So when the question is asked, explain how credit plays a positive role. You have to give this example of Salim, how he has taken the loan and how he has completed the order and how he got the profit. By explaining this example, you will prove this, that in the case of Salim, the credit has played a positive role. That completes the first example, children. Let's go to the second example where you will see that credit has played a negative role. By taking a credit, sometimes a person is in more risk. Let us see what is that. Swapna's problem. Swapna, a small farmer, grows groundnut on her 3 acres of land. So she has only 3 acres of land. So she is a small farmer. She takes a loan from money lender to meet the expenses of cultivation. That is, to buy the raw material like seeds, fertilizers, etc. She has taken a loan from a money lender, hoping that her harvest would help repay the loan. We all have studied that a farmer takes a loan for 4 to 5 months before the sowing season and then repays the loan after the harvesting season. So she also expected the same. and she took a loan from the money lender. Midway through the season, the crop is hit by the pest and the crop fails. What happened to Swapna's crop? That crop completely got rotten because of the pests. Though Sapna sprays her crops with expensive pesticides, it makes a little difference. She has used the pesticides, then also she could not save her crop. Now, what is her situation? She is unable to repay the money lender and the debt grows over the year into a large amount. Now, she is not able to repay the loan to the money lender. So, her loan has increased because there is an interest rate which keeps on increasing year after year. So, by the end of that year, her loan amount has increased because along with her loan amount, interest rate is added. Next year, now the next year started where she wanted again to buy the raw material, she wanted a loan. Next year, Swapna took a fresh loan for cultivation. Now it is a normal crop this year. Not a very good crop, but a normal crop. But the earnings are not enough to cover the old loan. Now she has taken 2 loans in 2 years. So now whatever harvest she could do, she could repay only 1 loan. And she could not repay the old loan. So now what is her situation? She is caught in debt. This is called as debt trap. She is now caught in a debt. That money lender, Swapna has not repaid the loan, but still money lender has given her the second loan. Now, why do you think that he has given her the second loan even if she has not paid her first loan? Do you know? Because he knows that she won't be able to repay the old loan and then she will fall into the debt trap where the money lender can grab a part of her land. That is what is called debt trap. So here also Swapna is caught in debt. She has to sell a part of the land to pay off the debt. That's exactly what moneylender thought. Now, out of the 3 hectares of land, she had to sell a part of her land to pay off the debt. That is the example and story, children. Now you tell me, children, it can click to your mind the answer that what happened to Swapna's future? Is Swapna benefited by taking the loan or Swapna has risked by taking the loan, or how credit has acted in her case? Let's see this. In rural areas, we all know it's not that only Swapna. There are so many other farmers in rural areas who take loans for so many raw materials. They buy, all the farmers in the rural area who are poor, who are the small farmers, even the middle income farmers, all of them, they take the loans for buying the raw materials. They buy, for example, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, water, electricity, repair equipment, etc. For all these things they buy, they take the loans. And there is a minimum stretch of 3 to 4 months between the time when the farmer buys these inputs and when they sell the crops. That is what I said. Before sowing season, they take the loan. So it takes hardly 4 to 5 months or maximum 6 months for harvesting. So they take the loan for 6 months. And after 6 months, they have to repay their loans. Farmers usually take crop loans at the beginning of the season and repay the loan after the harvest. So the repayment of the loan is crucially dependent on the income from farming. So the repayment of the loan, that depends upon their crop harvest. How is their crop? Is the crop a good crop or not a good crop? So depending on that, that repayment depends upon. So in the case of Swapna, as we have seen, she has taken a 2 times loan. And what happened to her crop? First time when she took the loan, her crop has failed. Her crop has failed. she had to sell a part of the land to repay the loan. And you have seen that she had to sell a part of the land to repay the loan to the money lender. Credit, instead helping Swapna improve her earnings, left her worse off. We can see that now Swapna is hardly left with maybe 2 hectares of land, because 1 hectare of land she had to sell to give it to the money lender as a loan, as a to fulfill the loan. So her situation is worse than before. This is an example of what is commonly called as debt trap. So if you are asked what is a debt trap, you have to write what is debt trap, and if they ask you example, you can give the example of this Swapna, how she fell into the debt trap. Money lender could have refused that no, I will not give you the loan again because you have not given me the old loan. But he knows that she will fall into the debt trap. Credit in this case pushes the borrower into a situation from which recovery is very painful. So we have seen how credit has pushed this farmer into a situation from where it is very difficult for her to recover again. She will never be able to buy that land again. So that is how she fell into the debt trap. So we have seen that from both the stories. In one situation, credit helps to increase earnings and therefore the person is better off than before. In another situation, that is in the situation of Swapna, because of the crop failure, credit pushed the person into a debt trap. To repay her loan, she has to sell a portion of her land. She is clearly much worse off than before. And whether credit would be useful or not depends on the risk in the situation, whether there is some support in case of loss. For example, if again I am telling you one more example, if a person is having say already 2 houses and then he takes a loan for the 3rd house and he is not able to repay the loan, what will happen? He has some property with him. So at least he has something with him so that he can repay the loan. He can sell that and one house and repay the loan. Like this farmer, even Swapna had to sell her 1 hectare of land and repay the loan. Think that there are so many landless farmers who take the loan. What they will do if they take the loan and they are not able to repay? In that case, that person and his whole family for generations, they have to work as bonded labor under those money lenders. Bonded labor means they don't, beggar, you have studied in earlier economics chapters. Beggar means without any payment they have to work under that money lender or a landlord. So that is how they fall into those debt traps. So let's see a table and the questions over here. Let's say Salim and Swapna, and fill the table on your own with a pencil, children. Why did they need credit? Why did Salim needed credit? He needed credit for making shoes. Why did Swapna needed credit? For buying raw materials like the fertilizer, seeds, etc. In the same way, Salim wanted to buy the working capital like leather. What was the risk? Only risk was that if Salim would not have completed his shoes, he just had to return back the rupees which he has money which he had taken from the trader for the 1,000 shoes. Swapna, what was the risk? Had to sell a part of the land. What was the outcome? Salim was able to complete his order. So credit has played in a positive way. Swapna was not able to complete, she was not able to repay the loan. So she had to sell a part of her land. Question number 2. Suppose Salim continues to get orders from traders. What would be his position after 6 years? If the same trader keeps on giving him the order, or some other traders keeps on giving him the orders, what will happen after 6 years? Salim will become very successful businessman. He would become very rich. because he is now very skillful and able to complete his orders on time. He knows how to take the loans. Next, what are the reasons that make Swapna's situation so risky? Discuss the factors. What will happen now again if Swapna takes the next loan from again a money lender or somebody at a high rate of interest? And suppose if her crops, she gets the success and the crop is good, she will be able to repay the loan. But what will happen if the crop is not good? Again, she had to sell a part of her land. So in the same way, if she keeps on buying these raw materials and taking the loans year after year, then she will one day become a landless farmer. That's what the risk is in her case. So that completes your next part, that is credit act in the two ways, that is it acts as a positive as well as the negative manner. Let's talk about the next part, terms of credit. Example, if you want a credit as a child, do you think you will get a credit from any bank, from anyone? No, you will not get credit because you are not an earning person. So to get a credit also, we have to fulfill certain conditions, and those conditions are called as terms of credit. On what basis we get the credit? If you are a person who is giving the credit, who is giving a loan, will you give the loan just like that without any terms and conditions? Definitely not. There will be certain terms and conditions. On that basis only anyone, whether he is a money lender or anyone, would give a loan. So every loan agreement specifies an interest rate which the borrower must pay to the lender. The first most important thing is the interest rate. When we give a loan to anyone, we ask what is the interest rate, or when we take a loan also we ask what is the interest rate charged upon that loan. So there are two people in the market. One is the lender, who is the one who is giving the loan. So repayment of the, along with the main amount, what is the interest rate upon what we take, say total amount of say 1 lakh rupees, we are taking it as a loan. Along with that amount, we have to pay the interest rate upon that. In addition to that, now other than interest rate, if you are giving a loan, if suppose let's talk about bank only. If a bank is giving a loan, bank will charge an interest rate. Other than that, bank will also ask a collateral. Collateral. Now what is collateral? It is a security that bank will ask. If you are taking a loan of 10 lakh rupees from the bank, bank will ask you that if you are not able to repay this 10 lakh rupees, what do you have else with you? Do you have any property with you? Do you have any gold with you? So upon that only you will get a loan, or your income must be high with through which you are able to pay back the loan. So that's how. So let's do what is collateral. Collateral is an asset that the borrower owns. If you are a borrower, you will have some kind of asset or a security. What all will come under the assets? Land, any kind of land you have on your name, any building on your name, vehicle, livestock, deposits with the bank. You have a lot of deposits in your bank. Upon that also you can get a loan. So all these are collateral and uses this as a guarantee to a lender until the loan is repaid. If you are taking a 10 lakh rupees, you will keep any of these things with the bank. Papers of these things like papers of land, papers of building, those papers will be with the bank. And if you repay the loan, the bank will give you the papers. If you don't repay the loan, bank will sell that and then make the money. If the borrower fails to repay the loan, not able to repay the loan, the lender has the right to sell that asset or collateral to obtain that payment. So the bank has the right to sell that property if you are not able to repay the loan. Properties such as land titles, deposit with banks, livestock are some examples of the collateral used for the borrowing. So that is how the collateral, it is a guarantee. Collateral acts as a guarantee that you will be repaying the loan. Children, there is an example here. You go through the example and fill this part. In the next video, I'll continue because the time limit is over. So in the next video, I'll continue with the same topic. Till then, you read this and fill this loan. A housing loan. Megha has taken a housing loan. So what are the terms and conditions on which she was given a loan? So that's all, children, for today. Have a good day. We'll continue with the same topic in the next class. Have a good day, students.